Welcome back to the Shadow Archives. Today, we're unsealing File 11, the Echo Vault. This file opens with a question that has baffled every expert who has encountered it. How can a sound exist without ever being recorded? How can it persist in a vacuum, with no source, no medium, and no logical explanation? Our story begins in the remote, desolate regions of northern Romania, beneath an abandoned military facility slated for demolition. As workers began clearing the rubble, something strange happened. They started hearing voices, human voices, faint but clear, seeming to emanate from the ground beneath their feet. They followed the sounds to a series of underground tunnels, but there was a problem. According to official records, these tunnels had been completely sealed off since 1974. Intrigued and a little unnerved, officials launched an investigation. After weeks of excavation, they discovered something that wasn't on any of the facility's blueprints. Buried deep under layers of earth and reinforced concrete was a massive steel door. It was rusted and thick, bearing no markings, no handles, and no keyhole. It had been welded shut from the outside, a clear sign that whatever was inside was meant to stay there, permanently. After hours of work with industrial cutting torches, the team finally breached the seal. The air that rushed out was stale, ancient. It hadn't circulated in decades. Behind the door, they found a single, straight corridor stretching nearly 900 meters into the darkness. It was a perfectly smooth, featureless concrete tube. At the very end of this long tunnel was a single chamber, a cube of solid concrete, with no windows, no furniture, no pipes, and no ventilation shafts. There were no signs of life, past or present. It was an empty, sterile box, buried under a mountain, but it wasn't silent. The first investigators who entered the chamber reported a chilling phenomenon, a sound, one that repeated with unnerving precision. Every 19 minutes, like clockwork, the sound of a human scream echoed through the chamber. It was described as clear, sharp, and filled with an impossible agony. But where was it coming from? Acoustic experts were brought in. They deployed the most sensitive equipment available, setting up an array of microphones, vibration sensors, and thermal imagers. They scanned every inch of the walls, floor, and ceiling. The results were baffling. There was no source, no vibration in the concrete, no hidden speakers, no cracks, no entry points for the sound to travel through. It didn't bounce off the walls. It simply appeared. It manifested in the dead center of the room, hung in the air for a few seconds, and then vanished. The team dug into the facility's old paper archives, searching for any mention of this mysterious vault. They found a single, yellowed document from 1974, a floor plan revision. The chamber was labeled simply as Vault 6C, do not open. No reason was given. No personnel were listed as having built or accessed it. There was just one final, handwritten note scrawled at the bottom of the page. If the echoes start again, evacuate immediately. What did they mean by again? The modern investigation team, driven by scientific curiosity, ignored the warning. They believed technology could solve the puzzle. They decided to run a continuous audio recording to analyze the scream's waveform. That's when the true horror of the Echo Vault revealed itself. During a test recording, while checking the equipment, one of the researchers spoke a few words to his colleague. A moment later, his own voice played back through the headphones, but it wasn't a recording. The echo was repeating words they hadn't spoken yet. The team fell silent, listening in stunned disbelief. The echoes were not of the past, but of the future. The phenomenon quickly escalated. The echoes began predicting full sentences, sometimes minutes in advance. The temporal displacement grew. One terrified researcher, trying to debunk what was happening, decided to ask a direct question into the open air of the vault. What is this place? The room was silent, but 5 minutes later, before he had even formed the thought to speak again, he heard his own voice from the recording equipment, answering the question he was about to ask. He heard himself give an answer, and 5 minutes later, found himself speaking those exact words aloud, as if compelled by an unseen script. The team was trapped in a temporal paradox. The vault wasn't just echoing sound, it was echoing time itself. Their future actions and words were being broadcast back to them. creating a terrifying feedback loop from which they couldn't escape. Their free will seemed to be an illusion. The climax occurred on the 5th day. All recording equipment, at the exact same moment, registered a new message. It wasn't the scream. It wasn't the researchers' own voices. It was a chorus of 17 distinct, overlapping voices. Some male, some female, all speaking in unison. They delivered a single, bone-chilling sentence. "You opened it again?" Panic erupted. The team abandoned everything there, multi-million-dollar equipment, their notes, their theories. They fled the chamber, ran the 900-meter length of the corridor, and sealed the steel door behind them. The next morning, a specialized engineering corps was brought in. The vault was filled with concrete and permanently sealed, buried once more beneath the earth. The official report declared the project a structural failure. No mention was made of the echoes, but the story doesn't end there. Unofficial reports from monitoring stations established nearby confirm that the phenomenon continues. The screams still occur, every 19 minutes, even with no one inside, even with the chamber filled with solid concrete and no air to carry the sound. This file remains under red level restriction. The conclusions are simple but absolute. Do not investigate abandoned vault structures. Do not follow unexplained echoes you might hear underground. And if you are ever in a silent place, and you hear your own voice speaking words you have not yet said, leave immediately. Do not wait for the rest of the sentence. End of File 11. The Shadow Archives are now closed. Thanks for watching. If you value our work, consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you never miss a Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.